Good morning. A few minutes early today. It's Friday, and we got a busy day today, guys. We're live. This is Josh from Julius Canine Academy. Got two topics I'm going to try to tie into one. I hope it's very educational. I hope it's very helpful. I understand if we don't get a lot of people today because it is a little early. It's before 8 a.m. We're busy today. We got, let's see, what are we doing? We're going to do an in-home with Buddy, the aggressive shepherd, to keep that training going. We're going to be documenting that. Eventually, we have a video coming your guys' way for him, his go home, because his go home has been, obviously with these dogs, multiple sessions, so we're recording them all, and then we'll have a video out. And then after that, we got training to do, and then after that, we got to go get the old COVID shot in the arm. Hopefully that doesn't kick our butt too much. And yeah, busy day. But I have decided I'm going to try to do these lives Monday through Friday, take the weekends off kind of thing, and see how that works for everybody and myself, and just do that for a while. As always, how's the audio? Give me some thumbs up. Let me know it's all good. Hopefully we're not glitchy today. I don't think we're going to be because I'm inside, so we should be good. And today we're going to talk about two things, actually, two topics. They do tie together. The first one, it could be a little touchy-feely, but I think it's important to get it out there. First of all, I'm going to say good morning to everybody who's joining. I really appreciate you guys jumping in so readily. I mean, I can't tell you how honored I am that you guys are giving me your time. It really is a big deal. So today, guys, we're going to talk about the way that I phrase this. Let's see. I'm going to try to be careful with it, but are you addicted to your dog? Or are you using your dog as a drug, as a feel-good drug? Because it happens, and there's science to back it, okay? Audio's good. Thank you, Four-Legged Social Club. I appreciate that. Good morning, Promising Tales. Okay, so listen. There is some people out there, when they get dogs, they get them whether they know it or not. This is not just my opinion. There's a lot of other people that talk about this. So if you want to do your research on this afterwards, I encourage you to look up some of the things I'm about to tell you, and your mind will be like, whoa, and you're going to start seeing it all over the place because it's a real thing. It's very difficult to explain. It's a very difficult thing to tackle, but we give it a shot, okay? So basically, here we go. When you're interacting with a dog, I mean, the science says that there's neurochemicals that are going to be released, and you're going to get some dopamine rushes. You're going to get that love chemical going. What's that love chemical? Oxytocin, I think it is. Look up oxytocin. They call it the love chemical or the cuddle chemical. And guys, you can get addicted to this. And it's not just through dogs. You can get it with people. You can get, there's sex addicts that have this issue. You can get addicted to this, but if you're using your dog as the source for this shot of dopamine or oxytocin, what can happen is that's what you do. That's all you do with your dog. You get a dog so that when you look it in the eyes when you get home, boom, you get a nice hit of that, right? Or when you pet your dog or play with your dog or baby talk your dog, boom, you get a nice dose of that. Not only do you get a dose of that, the dog gets a dose of that. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is a natural thing. This happens to all of us. But if you get addicted to that, and that's your only way of interacting with the dog, it leads to problems because here's why. Because the opposite end of that is when it comes to like trying to add structure in your dog's day and then having to do the big old bad like punishment for the dog not complying to the structure. For those people, they can't handle it. It's like, that's not why I got a dog. That equals bad feelings, right? So they're very sensitive, and you can see people who get addicted to this oxytocin hit, if you will. They end up becoming, and look it up yourself. They end up becoming super sensitive, like overly sensitive. It's actually one of the side effects. And I believe, as well as my colleagues, I'm not the first person to talk about this, so I don't want to take credit. That's why I'm saying this. That people get addicted to this with a dog. The dog becomes the source of their dopamine hit or their oxytocin hit, whether they know it or not. And so, therefore, viewing a dog that way, that's what we mean when we say too much nurturing, too much this, too much that. That dog is a feel-good drug for this person, and that's what they use the dog for, to fill some type of emotional void. And that is the only depth of their relationship. It doesn't go any further than that. And if you look this stuff up, you'll see that petting a dog, baby talking a dog, and playing with a dog are the ways, or even just laying on the bed with a dog, this is how you get that hit, that love drug, okay? I am going to repeat myself because people are just joining in. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Sabrina. So basically we're talking about people who use their dog as a feel-good drug. There's science to back this, and I'm encouraging everybody to go look it up afterwards. Basically, we all know this. This isn't old news, and I'm not the first person to say it. When you're petting a dog, playing with a dog, or baby talking a dog, you're getting hits of oxytocin, which is the love chemical, which is the cuddle chemical, okay? Dopamine goes up. Some people use their dog for this, to get, their dog is their drug, right? It makes them feel good. It's their feel-good drug, whether they know it or not. This is why they love interacting with a dog, because these chemicals get boom, and you can get addicted to this. And so can't the dog, okay? There's a trainer, I want to use her terminology, but before I use her terminology, I got to remember her company's name so you can go look her up. Her name is Cameron from, somebody help me out, she's out in California. Boom, boom, boom. If I can't think of her name, her company name, I will not use her terminology. Cameron, what is your company's name? I'm so sorry. She's got a great term too. I think you guys would love it, but it's not my term. I have to think of her company name, and if I do think of it, I'll give you it. Actually, I'll just give you the terminology. Just know it's not mine. It's from Cameron out in California. If I think of her company's name, I'll let you know. She calls it togetherness addiction or togetherness anxiety, where you can create this. Oh, Hope 2 K9, thank you, good dogma, thank you. Hope 2 K9, go check her out. She's awesome. She's out in Cali. Her name's Cameron, and I believe she uses the word togetherness addiction or togetherness withdrawal. This is created because of these chemicals. The science backs this. Go check it out. Google searches will teach you that you get addicted to these oxytocin boosts, just like a sex addict can get addicted to it through this oxytocin boost. Or it's not just sex, okay? But this is one of the examples that they're going to give you. But people who use their dogs as a feel-good drug, you can get addicted to it. And so can't the dog, and it creates problems. Here's how it creates problems. If you have this type of relationship with your dog and you are addicted in this way, it makes it very hard to tell your dog to do things that it doesn't want to do. And we all know that that's kind of part of raising the dog. So therefore, all the structure, all the discipline goes out the window, because that's not what we're using the dog for. That's not what we do with our dogs. We're using them for that feel-good drug feeling. And the science backs it. Go check it out. Those neurochemicals are firing every time you pet a dog, every time you play with a dog, and every time you baby talk a dog. These are the three main ways to get those neurochemicals to go woof. You get that oxytocin, you get that love chemical, you get that dopamine, and some folks are addicted to it, and some folks use their dogs as a feel-good drug, okay? These are the people we can't work with. So like in short, when we say there's a certain mentality that we just can't work with, that's it. It's those people. And you know who those people are, and their dogs are always a fucking mess. They're a fucking mess. They create separation anxiety. Separation anxiety did not come out in the womb. Like the dog wasn't born saying, I got separation anxiety. This stuff, if you don't use balance, it's okay to do this with your dogs. We all do, man. The dog feels good. We feel good. Boom. It feels great. But if you have the balance of also being able to discipline your dog and whatnot, you're going to be fine. But if you don't, because you lean towards being really addicted to that feeling, I had a hard day at work, boom, dog, make me feel better. Or my relationship's not going good, boom, dog, make me feel better. The last thing that person wants to do is punish the dog or give it structure when it needs it, because that equals not feeling good, right? So when we say like it's a selfish act and all that, that's what we mean. So this is a real thing. It's not talked about a whole lot. But if you know what you're looking for, when you go to look this up on your own, you are going to see, you can put the dots together that this is what's happening. So yes, I have met people who operate this way, a lot of them, and I can't help these people unless they want help, and oftentimes they don't, because that means you got to put the needle down. You know what I mean? It means you got to be willing to take that drug and put it aside for a second and do the hard work of getting the dog in a better space, because this creates fucked up dogs. It does. When you see dogs at shelters that are really, or not shelters, I'm sorry, that come from people's homes that have super separation anxiety, super anxious and stuff. Old school trainers, before this science was out to back it, they knew, they were like, you're spoiling it too much, you're doing this too much. Like, it's been around, the knowledge has been around, but now we live in a day and age, you could do a Google search and figure out what's going on in the person's brain. Another thing, tied to this, I'm giving you guys a lot, and this is some complicated stuff, okay? Another thing is, people, when they go to buy dogs, they're gonna fall in love real quick with just about any old dog that shows them just a little bit of cuteness. You know, it comes up to them and licks them and they pet it. Boom! Those feelings hit. You think that's love because that's what the love chemical is. You're now in love with this dog. Now, I'm not saying, now here's why this can be a problem, okay? This can be a problem because what if you're going to a place like a shelter where they don't tell you the proper background of the dog. They make you think that the dog was abused, because that's, even if the dog got rehomed 4 times, right? This happens all the time. I got a dog in here that got rehomed 4 times. That dog didn't get rehomed 4 times because the owners were beating it and it was fearful, even though that's what they're going to say. It's because it was a pain in the ass, right? It was a pain in the ass. It was hard to manage. But you go there, they give you a sob story, they let you interact with the dog, and boom, those chemicals hit, you love this dog. Now you don't want to see your life without this dog, especially if you spend a few days with it. You don't want to see your life without this dog. And what just happened is you fell in love with a dog who has issues, because nobody's there to tell you that. Nobody's there to help you in the dog. They're just there to get the dog out of the system, get it out of the system. So we're going to give you a sob story just to lube you up, and then we're going to let that dog give you this loving so that it seals the deal. And now you're screwed, because if you interacted with a dog at a place that was like well-trained, well-bred, which it doesn't even really exist. I mean, to find a place where they're looking to breed and then sell the public companion dogs, good luck finding it. It's not even it's a market that needs to be tapped into more. There are some places, but mainly they're service dogs, or they're going to be used for like bite work or something, where they're breeding them specifically for these things. I think breeding them specifically to be a companion for a family is a brilliant thing, but you're not seeing it. Because what's going to happen to the average human when they go and interact with this puppy is they're going to fall in love with it. And it's not fair to show them ones that are kind of messed up and not address that, because they're going to fall in love with a dog who's kind of messed up. And now what you got is you got a dog who's got severe issues before you even got it. You get it home and you find out within the first week all the issues, but now you love it so much because of those chemicals. Again, it's not fair to you. It's not your fault for buying the dog, unless you knew this knowledge and you did it anyway. It's the person who gave you the dog, and they know you're just going to fall in love with this. Things sell themselves, right? Without actually being honest about the dog's issues, and maybe it's not going to fit in so well. You fall in love, all of a sudden you got a dog who's a problem, and you're willing to pay all this money to go to these trainers and stuff and fix this dog, where if you just got a dog who wasn't, I'm just using these words even though they're not really the words I'd like to use, just to make it easy. A broken dog, a dog who needs some work, you could have got a dog at a place, if you had a place to go to that wasn't broken or didn't have this history of terrible issues. You were going to fall in love with that dog too. It doesn't matter, as long as the dog's not biting at you. If your eye just slightly thinks it's cute and it licks you, you're in love. You're in love, and you're being taken advantage of. So I mean, right? So again, petting dogs, playing with dogs, and talking dogs is going to make you feel good. The science is backing it up. There's chemicals in there, just like a drug. And some people tend to use their dogs as a feel-good drug, whether they know it or not. And that's the extent of their relationship. They do not go into discipline. They do not go into structure. They do not go into punishment. And that's why dogs are falling apart. That's why they're becoming aggressive, entitled, bratty, and that's why they have separation anxiety. It's not because they were beat, all right? How many dogs have I worked with that had aggression that were beat? Zero. That is, you're being lied to. Okay, this isn't I'm not the only guy who knows this, or gal who knows this. There's trainers on here right now, they can tell you. If the dog's like insecure, all of a sudden it was beat. Again, that's just lubing you up, so that when that dog comes up, looks cute, and licks you, you fall in love and you take it home. And now you have a dog who's like either genetically messed up, or who's genetically and has a history of experiences that created a dog with an improper belief system that makes him struggle. But now you're in love, and it's not fair to you or the dog. You understand? Yeah, I mean, you think the dog's special, but it's just your chemicals going off. And I told you that this was going to be a rough thing to hear, but you got to understand. I'm the kind of guy that's after the truth. I'm not looking and picking and choosing through the science. I don't like doing that. I don't like to look at the science and say what fits my motive. That kind of shit irks me. I want to see what's really happening. That's what I'm passionate about, and that's what drives me. So what is really happening? I hate to tell you, this is what's happening. This is why you fell in love with your dog. And if you fall in love with a dog who sucks, who's not really a great fit, needs a lot of work, the person who sold you knew you were going to fall in love with them, and they weren't going to tell you about all that bullshit. They were just going to lube you up with a sob story, let the dog have a decent interaction with you, have those chemicals fire off, and boom, you're done. You're toast. You love this dog, and now you'll do anything for this dog. And I'm not saying this dog doesn't deserve you to. That's not what I'm saying. Every dog deserves to have help. But there's some grimy stuff going on beneath the surface, and the public needs to understand, hey, why is there only a couple ways to buy a dog here? Why is it, do I have to go to a shelter and get one that has a history of having bad behaviors? Or I have to go to a breeder and I have to get it at 8 weeks and be responsible for doing it absolutely perfect until it's an adult? Why isn't there a place that's dedicated to create these companion dogs? And anybody who knows me knows I've had this idea for years now where hey man, what if there was a place? What if there were these places out there where their sole purpose is to try to get these dogs, figure out their temperaments, give them the training and skills they need and coping skills they need, this particular dog, to live in a family, and then also match that family with that. Listen, there's no resources. That's why. The government's not hopping in and saying, let's help this part of the country here with these dogs that are struggling. Everything's donation and stuff, so you're not seeing that. Eventually, you will see it, I think, and we will be able to temperament test a dog, see what they need, temperament test an owner, see if they're a good fit, because nothing gets a dog killed faster than a bad match with an owner. You get a dog who needs somebody who has certain skills, and you get an owner who absolutely lacks those skills, and that dog's not doing good. And the next thing you know, they're either running away and getting hit by cars, or they're biting people and getting put down. So I told you it's a little heavy today, but the truth, it's just the truth. And it took me a lot of years of accumulated knowledge to see these things clearly. And once you see things clearly, it's very hard to unsee them. And all of a sudden, you start to see the smokes and mirrors. Okay, so listen, are you using your dog as a feel-good drug? Is that hindering you from giving it what it actually needs to be a balanced dog? If the answer is yes, there's help out there. It's a mentality thing. It does feel good to play with our dogs, chemically speaking. Sorry, it's true. It does feel good to baby talk them. It does feel good to get lost in their dreamy eyes. It does feel good to pet them and lay with them on the bed. It does. But you can't get addicted to it to the point where that's all you do with your dog and you're not willing to put in the work, because that gives you the opposite feeling. The tough love. You know what tough love is? This is what parents have to do. You have to do something that's uncomfortable for you, and possibly even uncomfortable for the child or the dog, but is better for them in the future. That's what true parenting is. You know what's not? It's just letting it go because it's difficult and it doesn't feel good to do. That's bad parenting to a dog or to a kid. Like, you think grounding your kid feels good? You think if my kid goes and gets, robs the store, he's 12 years old, he swipes a pack of gum, you think I want to ground him and give him all this punishment, you know what I mean, to teach him not to do that? No. You think it feels good for me? No. But what happens if I just bypass that and just let him get away with this stuff because that's easier? You see what I'm saying? Okay, and I think the same thing can happen with kids, but I've only got 1 2-year-old right now, and I've worked with handfuls of younger kids and older kids. I'm not going to speak on kids like that, in that depth, like how you should be. That's not my thing. The dogs. You see these people, they're addicted to that. It's a real thing. And it creates separation anxiety. That's how it's created, baby. Right there. Because you're not giving your dog coping skills, because it's much... Have you ever heard of devouring mother syndrome? Yeah, same thing. I don't want my kid to mature because then they won't need me. And if they need me, I feel good, right? I have a bad, I have experience with this personally, let's say, and maybe that's a subject for another day, so it hits home. This is a selfish act, okay? The devouring mother syndrome. Look it up. Look into this stuff. I encourage you guys to. Moms who don't want their kids to be independent, because that means they're not dependent on them anymore, which means they lack purpose. So they keep their kid underdeveloped so that they always need them. This is the same thing going on with dogs. Come on. There's people out there who want their dog to have problems because socially it gets them attention. I mean, there's all this nasty stuff going on out there, and I think that's the true abuse out there. I don't think swatting your dog for barking at somebody or charging another dog or getting up on the table is abusive at all. But those people would say, you need to be hung from a tree. And it's like, no, dude, you're the one. You're the one that causing this dog all this anxiety and shit, trying to put it on people like me, like we're abusive. I'm helping these dogs every day. 120 dogs a year. How many are you helping? You're not. You're not helping at all. You're helping yourself. Okay? So, yes, dogs can be used as a feel-good drug. Absolutely. Happens all the time. I'm not saying that don't feel good when you're with your dog. Absolutely do it. What I'm telling you this is, if you have any common sense, you just know it's balance. It's balance. And when those moments come where you can have those times with your dogs and you feel good with your dog, eat it up, baby. Love it. I do. I was just hanging out with Riggy on the couch the other day, out in the garage, loving up on him, taking him on hikes, goofing around with him. But if he fucks up, I'm not letting that go. It's not in my character, because I'm not addicted to him. I don't use him as a drug, right? When it comes naturally and organically in our day, I'm there in the moment to enjoy it. And I appreciate him. And I let him know I appreciate him. But I'm not addicted to him. I'm not using him to say, Riggins, make me feel better. Whenever I feel down, make me feel better. Okay? Look it up. Look it up. And if you look up, can people get addicted to it? That's not how you're going to find it, because nobody wants to put that out there. Okay? You're going to find it by saying, what happens when you pet your dog and all this stuff, like chemically, and then you're going to see that these feel-good emotions come up, like oxytocin and dopamine, and then you're going to see that oxytocin is the love chemical and the cuddle chemical, and then you're going to see that it's addicting, and then you're going to start putting it together. This is how guys like me come up with the knowledge, because nobody's taking dogs and studying. Nobody with a brain like Elon Musk, who is a genius, is like super passionate about dogs to figure all this out. So it takes, I'm like half a moron here trying to figure it out and explain it to people, because I know something's going on, but I don't have the brain power to like do it, like do these studies and stuff, So I do my own, and I talk with a lot of professionals, and I see a lot of people, and I see what's going on. And once I talk to you and you guys understand it and it goes boom, you'll never unsee it again. You just won't. And you'll see that there's a problem out there. And you'll also notice this. Okay, like I said before, the aggressive dogs that come in here. I have never worked with an aggressive dog that's been beat, as far as I know. Never have. Must have been beat by men. Oh, no, not accurate. Not accurate. You know what that does? That gets you to buy it. You know what I mean? That's you got to be a smart consumer. You got to be a smart consumer. Good morning, balanced behavior dog training. I am so appreciative that you guys are here. I know I say it, but I really am. I really, really, really am. So thank you for showing up and being interactive. I really appreciate it. These are important topics. I have a lot of other topics to talk about that aren't as heavy, but these ones need to be out there. This will be saved if Instagram does not fail me like it did the other day. I'm waving at everybody. I got this thing where I just like wave at everybody. Morning, Angela from Texas. I love seeing you guys here. So, okay. So when we were talking the other day about mentality, about the proper mentality to lead a dog, right? That makes it easier and effective. If there is a counterpart, if there is an opposite mentality, it is this mentality. And you listen, they're not gonna tell you that they're addicted to using their dog as a feel-good drug, but in my opinion, in my expertise, they absolutely are, and that's what hinders them from using structure and using punishment, because then they'll say, because that doesn't feel good, that makes them feel bad. They'll literally say those words, I feel bad, when that means I want to feel good. It's there. You got to read between the lines, right? What's between the lines? Whoop. Okay? It's there. And you can help people like this. There's some people that just don't know it. And then you can help them. But there's other people just like any addict. They'll fight for their drug. They want to use that. And if adding structure and punishment means that, hey, for a couple weeks to a month, I can't have that feel-good drug, I'm going to fight it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell everybody else that this person who's saying that is wrong. And what's the quickest way to get you to not listen to somebody like me? Say that I'm abusive for wanting to like have control over my dog and adding structure in its day and correcting it when it breaks those rules within that structure. I'm abusive. That's all you can pull. It's the only card you can pull, because if you don't pull that card, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. So there we go. It's all about perspective. How do you view this dog? And the poor dog becomes a wreck. I've never seen any dog do good from this, man. There's a reason why there's balance. There's a reason why you need to work on yourself to be able to do both. I could be loving on my dog 1 minute. He does a bad behavior. I take care of it. We move on. I'm loving on him again. You'll be fine if you do that. You'll be fine if you do that. But you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not pointing my finger at anybody on here or anybody in particular. It's a type of person. It's the type of relationship that is unhealthy, that creates messed up doggies. And it's also a play that's used from anybody who's selling you a dog. They know that as soon as you kind of interact with it in just the right way, you're going to buy the dog. So that's used that way. They know to tap into that side to get you to buy the dog. They're not saying, hey, this is how you're going to live most successfully with this dog, because then that's work and that's not fun and that's the real stuff. No. They're not going to do that. They're going to use this, what I'm explaining to you, to get you to feel those emotions while you're there playing with the dog so that you leave with it. It's sales, baby. It's sales. Okay? And except they're not, they think they're doing the right thing. Some people do, I'm sure. But the thing is, what we see nothing but people getting dogs from shelters and struggling. It just struggle. That's it. I would love to come out to North Island. Do you got a spare bedroom? Valerie, please move to North Island so I can go to use. I'll probably our training, I imagine. But yes, so we got to look out for these dogs, man. We got to look out for them and get them balanced and doing the right thing by them and respecting them enough to not use them as a feel-good drug and to put aside the raising process, because that's work and that doesn't feel good. You literally, like I said, you hear people say, I hear people say, if I really push them, like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you putting them in the crate? And this is the word that comes out of their mouth. Because it feels bad, which only leads me to believe that they want to feel good. Come on, guys. It's there. It's out there. I'm going to read another one from Ace Dog Academy here. Every experience I had with a shelter or rescue, I've walked away more jaded. I'm leaning towards shelters aren't rescuing dogs, but trafficking them. Woo, you got it. They just ship them away. And they don't, here's the thing. People like myself, and not naming other trainers, have tried very hard to help these shelters. But they've been infiltrated by these types of minded people. The devouring mother syndrome people. I want this dog to need me. I want this dog to have a problem, because then if I help with the problem, which you're not, you just think you are because you're like feeding it and stuff, then I feel good. You do it because you feel good. They don't want me to come in here because I'm going to say, stop jumping. I'm going to say, stop pulling. I'm going to teach you to be a balanced dog, which equals structure and punishment. They're not going to let us in to help. We could help. They're not going to let us in because their morals are different than mine. You understand? So there's two different types of people, man. There's probably three. There's probably the third one doesn't care, right? But then there's somebody who thinks it's morally wrong. Their belief system, which goes against nature. That's why it doesn't work, because it's not natural. Sorry, it's not. Morally, I think it's wrong to punish a dog, okay? Or I've heard people, I've told you this before, morally, I think it's wrong to tell a dog what to do. These are moral issues that are creating problems, because that's not how dogs operate. It's just not. It's not how nature operates. You watch how dogs deal with each other. They fight. Now, me, I'm a balanced dog trainer. I like to be fair but firm, and I'm not overly, like, I talk about structure and stuff a lot to help people out, but I'm not on my dogs all the time telling them what to do, because our relationship's there. But it's balance. They're not going to hire me. Or they're not even going to let me work for them for free, or anybody like me, because the moral issue. And then also business standpoint. Guess what? If you use me, you need me once. If you use them, you need them forever. And if you go to a behavioralist, you're going to need those meds forever. And guess what happens? The tolerance goes up, so the meds prescription goes up as far as milligrams, which means price goes up, which means we got you hooked forever. You got to see it, guys. You got to see it, and once you see it, you got to inform other people, because I can't be here alone with just the 2 other trainers in the country that are talking about this. There's not many. And just, it's so frustrating. And you see these poor dogs and these people. There's people that are victims too, they're just doing what they're told by professionals with degrees. I have a devouring foster parents. A lot of devouring foster parents out there. I like that wording. Okay. Phyllis says, I don't feel shelters are forthcoming with a dog's current mentality / issue. Either. Sorry, I'm a bad reader, guys. No one told us Tyson was dog aggressive. Phyllis knows. Phyllis was, if I can use the word victim, even though I hate, because you're not a victim, because you're a badass bitch. You're not. But yes, they knew. You know they knew. Come on, you know they knew. But that wouldn't get him out of the shelter. And they have, every time they get a dog out, they feel like they did the right thing. So they get hit with those good feelings. Boom. Yeah, there's that dopamine again, right? So they feel good whenever they get a dog out. And they honestly believe they're doing the right thing, which I'm not knocking shelter. You guys know, shelters started for the right reasons. It comes from a good place. These people they believe they're doing the right thing, but there are masterminds. I do believe this. I think there's a few really smart people manipulating the whole thing, manipulating all the ones that aren't as smart, right? And so, and there are names that I will not be dropping that I think manipulate a lot of young people to get to go over to this ideology. And the problem with this ideology is it's just that it's not real. It doesn't, even the science, they want to say science. They're neglecting the science. I'm giving you the real science, and people like me are trying to tell you it's not accurate, guys. They're writing full-on books that are biased. Nature and science is not biased. Science is the documentation of factual nature, right? That's what it is. You can't go fuck with that, man. You're messing things up. Okay, Ace Dog Academy says, I showed my local shelter my e-collar. I already know where this is going. They use it themselves at the shelter. Some will. This isn't every single rescue in every single shelter. It's just most of them. They let me bring a dog home, but then made me take it back for no reason. The dog was dog aggressive. Let's read some more. Bethany, agree. Rescue organizations definitely didn't mention a few things about my old rescue gal. Thankful she went to me so I could manage things appropriately. I'm thankful too. The reason I'm reading these is because for some reason in the IGTV, once this is over, it doesn't show you guys these wonderful comments. I had an e-collar. This is from Ace Dog Training, which is Angela. No, this is not Angela. Sorry, ACC Dog Training. I'm getting there. This is from Ace Dog Academy. I had an e-collar on the Facebook on a Facebook post. I tagged them in. They probably didn't want that, even though they used them. Okay, cool. So I stopped dealing with shelters a long time ago. I stopped dealing with rescues a long time ago. Certain rescues are really good. You have to find the right rescues. Rescues can be better because they can be people who they're the in-between. Okay, they're taking them from the shelters and they're trying to get these dogs the skills they need to then get it home. So if you get the right rescue, you can really do something with it. And the right shelter too. Maybe if the right people are behind the desk, it depends on who's working there. Really, it does, and their mentality. But I'm telling you, it's the devour mother syndrome on the animals. That's what I'm seeing behind the desk, and it's rubbed me the wrong way forever because, like I said, I have personal experience with that kind of stuff. So Ace Dog Academy wants to continue. It says that the dog was an easy one. Such a fucking shame because he's been there for dog aggression. This is why I'm jaded, and it's true because you can help this dog. That's what makes it rough, because you can help the dog, and easily help the dog. Like all these dogs that don't get adopted because maybe they bark and like you're not getting those love chemicals because it's like ruff, 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 so you're not getting that, right? It's the ones that are going to give you 5 minutes of affection that you're going to have that experience with and take it home. And but they lube you up before you go or before you leave with the sob story too, just to make sure it hits. And I'm not they will straight up lie about dogs' backgrounds sometimes, you know? It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. That to the point where, like, if people ask me, should I go to a shelter to get a dog? I'm like, I want it. And it's nothing against those dogs in there. It's not. And don't you know that I would love to see them all get the help they need if the government... I don't want the government to get involved in some ways because then they regulate everything and the wrong people with lots of money will come in and ban stuff and all that. But listen, if I had it my way, we'd be getting help from the government. They'd be seeing it how you know, realistically, and we'd be able to help all these dogs. And we'd create jobs for people and all this great stuff that's I don't know if I'm going to live to see. But yes, thank you guys for coming in early today. We are taking off early. Like I said, we're going to work with Buddy for another go home. They've had a week. They've had him home, I think, just over a week now. So we're going to go check in, see how things are going, try to tighten things up some more, take more videos so that we can get a go home video for you guys. Okay. Awesome interactions, awesome conversation, awesome group of people. I would love to see more like-minded people join. I would also like to see you guys keep continuing to help people understand what's going on out there. Understand that this, like, using your dog as a feel-good drug can be a real thing, and I think it's heavily correlated with devouring mother syndrome, where your dog's always depending on you. Because listen, especially, and I'm not going to get in, like, I could go forever and continue to talk about the stuff about how, like, hey, if you're pushing 40 and you haven't had a kid yet and you're a female, you're going to start to want to have your dogs dependent on you and stuff. This isn't my fault. This is nature, okay? You want something to nurture, all right? That can happen. It's not all of them, but it can happen with that mentality. You can fall into that where you want to nurture them, but you don't want to punish and all that kind of stuff. But it's not everybody. It's certain people. And the devouring mother syndrome, I don't even know if they know they're doing it. I don't even know if they know they're doing it, but it comes down to them wanting the child or the dog to be depending on them, to not have the skills to be independent or to not be needed as much, because it makes them feel good when they're needed. And it's something that's been around for a long time, and we're seeing it with dogs, and it's fucking dogs up, and it's creating separation anxiety, it's creating aggression, it's creating confused dogs. At the very least, it's going to create a bratty dog and an entitled dog. I think that's doing far more damage than bonking a dog on the head to tell it to knock it off. I think it's far more, if you want to use the A word, the big old bad word of abuse, you know? And so you know, you're neglecting to give the dog the experiences it needs to mature and grow and be balanced. Okay, I'll end it on that. I appreciate every single person on here that came on to listen. I've noticed a lot of you have been sharing it. I noticed a lot of you have been liking and stuff like that. That only helps our I can't even say algorithm or whatever it is. I told you I can't talk or read very well, but somehow you guys put up with it. And it helps somebody say it for me. Algorithm. No, I'm not even going to try. Algorithm. I think I said it. It helps it so more people can see it, all right? So, and if you're not following us on Facebook, of course, do that, because we put up daily content over there, different stuff than over here. Appreciate you guys so much for coming in so early. Again, I'm going to be doing these Monday through Friday. Take the weekends off to come up with some new stuff. And that way, I'm really going to try, guys, to be as consistent as possible. I might miss a day here and there because life's crazy. But, you know, the support's been overwhelming. So let's do it. Let's continue to talk. And let's continue to grow. Okay? Appreciate every one of you. And I'll see you on the next one.